Welcome, everybody, back to another episode of Pardon the Distraction. I'm DJ Blue PDX here with my co-host, none other than the Lost Drake, and special guests for our comic book and film weekend. It's none other than the Cup of Robots, also known as the Chalice of Androids, and James Kick-Ass Jamis from the UK is across the pond, who's currently wet. He got deeper in than most Spartans do when they wander through in Halo 4 or crossing a river and dying.
I'm not a fan of how I'm introduced on this show. The last time it was you guys rapping on my yogurt.
Yeah, well, you
Like,
shat
three
yourself
hours.
ridiculously
You
for
did
that.
shit That was very.
You did
I
shit
did,
yourself.
who said I shat myself?
That
DJ.
was.
I mean, I did, but who told you that I shat myself?
This guy
Yeah.
right here, DJ.
Somebody.
He's like,
I'm not gonna say
The way
who,
the
but
way the rap went was shitty witty witty. What with me? This is the way you shit with me.
You know what that
I
reminded
eat
me of?
yogurt. This is
You know
how we just like to be like a cow. Oh
my
God!
You know what that reminded me of? It reminded me of that part in Dumb and Dumber when it's like, who did that? And they're like, he was like pointing. yeah, that was pretty much what happened.
Basically,
Well, hello everyone.
Hi.
How are you?
we missed a week because I was having a breakdown. So there you go.
Yeah, it's all
Hi.
good. You know what? Everybody needs a break, man. Mental health, health awareness. is
And
important.
ironically, now we're all the same hairstyle, so it's good.
No, we're not. Stop bundling me
It's
in.
good.
there. We're not.
Nobody's
Looks
bundling
good.
you.
I have hair. I want to keep it as long as
I
possible.
tried to
Well, that's
bundle
'cause you're
you one
young. Just
time,
wait.
and
We'll
you
give
said
we'll
I
give
was
you
drunk.
like 3 or 4 more years. You got a receding hairline. It's fine.
It'll
catch
happen.
up.
Wow.
Shouldn't have put the gel
Oh
in.
my
man.
God.
You put the gel in. The gel and all the products is what makes it fall out. That and 3 wars, but whatever.
Also that. Oh my God. Third week on the show, we talk about comic books, we talk about film, cinema, and more, and it's all right here with all of us. If you want to find us, let's find out where you can find us out at. Drake, how do you find Pardon the Distraction, the podcast?
www.pardonthedistraction.com. That isn't a jab at you either, by the way. I was just saying that. I just got
Well,
the
I
accent.
mean,
It's all right, though. I can do it in Scottish if you want. That'll be much
that's
better if you
yeah,
prefer.
that's less offensive.
All right, there we go. All right. But no, or you can follow us on all social medias at Pardon the D.
Rhino, are you asking?
Wow.
Okay.
You got to stop rhinoing my. Wait. Okay. Wait. I'm stop now.
It's not my fault that I'm horny.
Wow.
I
Okay.
knew it was coming. You saw it coming from a mile away.
Mm.
Oh my God. So what a couple of weeks. Lots of things been going on, and we've had a lot of things that have been released and come out.
Yep.
Let's talk about cinema and TV and some of the things we'll be covering today. By the way, this is a spoiler-free day so far.
No. No.
I haven't seen Batman yet.
Ah.
So we're going to be talking about these things in a spoiler-free manner. We've got to talk about what's coming out latest with Marvel, what's going on with DC, what's coming out with some of the upload things that are happening with our friend Robbie over on Amazon, and most importantly, the Batman. And the reviews that are coming out with that. But we've also got some great things that have been happening in comic books, both on DC and the Marvel end, including new story derivatives that are engaging the new filming community and the MCU. And it's a really interesting thing seeing how fans have been trying to predict what they think are the next elements that are going to be pushing forward in the MCU as well as the DCEU, which I think is going to be a really good conversation between you three, because you three seem to pay attention to all of these elements, and I'm the only one who's actually paying attention to the news. There you go. I will say, for those of you looking for more gaming news, here's a fun thing about gaming news. You know what I did this morning? Here's a fun thing that I did this morning. I was thinking, you know what's fun? You know what's neat? You know what's great? HCS. I loved HCS. It's funny. I'm wearing their fucking hat. I'm looking at you, Unishek, Sketch, and Tashi. You know what's fun? When you say to your community that, hey, we've got your game fixed. Here's going to be a fun thing when I run a charity stream and your game fails and crashes twice in a row and then bans me while raising money for Ukraine, you shits. And then you provide an update the same morning that you say you're releasing all the tickets for Kansas City for the next HCS event, except your dumbass decided to let Ticketmaster release that shit early so that every motherfucker who thought they could count on you for an accurate time for the release of your tickets at 10 a.m. Pacific discovered that, oh, the VIPs were being purchased at 9:30.
So what you're saying is you're upset.
You're the one who got knocked.
What
He
the
doesn't
fuck,
seem upset. I don't
Koshi?
think.
Yeah, I don't think he's upset.
I don't think he's upset at
I
all.
don't think he's. I honestly
So,
feel like
I'm-
this stream is sponsored by Salt.
I'm not going. I'm not
Sodium.com.
going to Kansas City. Do you know why?
Wizard of Ozsphere.
That
Ruby
and
Red Slippers and also Toto.
that and the small dog thing. You know, I like big
Movie.
dogs, but they all have small dogs. They're like little tiny creature dogs.
Wait, maybe that's what Cup was
Also,
setting us up for. That's why he
How
looks
the
like
fuck
Toto.
do you fuck up ticket sales that bad? Come on!
Nobody knows what I'm talking about. That's why that joke didn't land for anybody else who's listening. But it's okay. It's good for us.
Doesn't matter. You have to be here in the pre-show,
Yeah,
guys. So
pre-show.
the only way you can know what we were just talking about is you become part of the cast, and then you come in here when I'm messing with Snapcam.
Yeah.
Exactly. Also, it's the greatest way to win a Tesla, which we gave away like 30 minutes ago. So sorry y'all missed it.
We give away meme app. I lost it. I'm over it.
This is good. So far,
I was gonna say Mini Cooper, but that totally just my tongue went. Blah, 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 blah. It was
Yeah,
over.
you got nowhere near.
Nowhere near Mini Cooper.
Nowhere
It was
near
just.
it.
It was just.
I've
Nowhere
never
bleh.
been so happy to not be the one that edits the show.
I just leave it in. I don't know who edits. Who edits? I just clip an end and a beginning and make a funny
No,
clip reel in the
but-
beginning, and that's it.
But
I don't
but
edit
seriously,
shit.
I'm on a
not
charity
bad for that.
stream. I'm on a charity stream, and the first time I decided to try and go play ranked, and these fuckers banned me after they had their game crash twice. They banned me. Congratulations, 343. You're stupid in 3 languages. I don't understand. This is that meme where you've got the guy talking to the Starbucks employee about like, hey, what do you want? I want a large black coffee. You mean a venti? No, I mean a large. You mean a venti. He means a venti. No, venti means 20. Large means large. Grande actually means large in Spanish.
You know what I hear
Venti
right now?
means 20 and it's in Italian. So congratulations. You're stupid in 3
I'm
languages.
gonna drop a perfect quote right now because this is how
Thank
I
you.
feel DJ is right now.
Not like you. We're grown-ups, motherfucker.
Thank you. Get it together. What are you doing with your studio?
Hey, but you know they're releasing a pack and no, you know.
Oh no, there was
or-
an update today that keeps it from crashing. Congratulations. I'm
We'll
glad
get
you got there
co-op by
2 days
Christmas.
after I was playing.
It's fine.
This game has not crashed for me since launch.
I haven't
Me
not had a
neither.
crunch. I
I've just
haven't
been
had.
sitting here
I-
going, yeah, sure.
The only reason why it crashed for me is because I tried to do quick play on Xbox.
Oh yeah, you got.
That's the only reason why it crashed. Other than that, I haven't had any problems with it. Unfortunately,
and then
I haven't.
The first on my original tweet when I was a little shitty about it, I was all like, "Look, what the fuck?
Have they
I'm doing
responded
this,
to
and
you
you
yet?
guys fucking banned me." And the response I got was, before I deleted the tweet, was, "Well, do you have a substandard system?"
Well, you do need more RAM.
I run an i9 9900K and an RTX 2070 with 16 gigs of RAM. Are you fucking high? I have an
343.
M.2 2 terabyte.
343.
i9
Don't
is
let him
not-
lie to you. He needs more RAM.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna ram you in a minute.
You're not
like-
playing on an Xbox, fam.
Yeah,
There's your
play on an
issue.
Xbox. That's your big problem. Yep.
Send me an Xbox.
Really,
It's available.
really
Great.
easy to just.
You know what? If
Not
everybody likes,
play on
subscribes, and
PC.
follows this right now, we'll have enough money to buy him an Xbox, and then he won't have those problems anymore.
You just
Okay,
need
you
about
wanna-
50,000 views
Yeah.
for ad
Right, there you
revenue.
go.
Right now, everybody go.
Easy.
There we go.
Sad. You want to hear the sad panda part? The sad panda part. I actually
we haven't gotten
finally.
Oh.
Oh no, the sad panda part is I turned on my Xbox One X. Finally, you can go fuck yourself, Cup.
We're in for a ride if we haven't got to the sad bit yet.
I turned on my Scorpio
Fucking
edition.
hell.
My Scorpio edition 1X. My signed Scorpio edition 1X.
Yeah.
And it died during the update for Infinite this morning. And won't turn back on.
Hey, DJ, no matter what anybody tells you.
You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry, I had to do it.
Yeah,
Trying to
good at
lighten the mood.
lip-syncing.
Everything you know me. Trying to keep it on a course.
So,
It's right. Everything's
today's-
fine. DJ
So
hates
today's
Halo
show-
right now. Everything's fine.
I'm just pissed off, and I'm not going to Kansas City. I'm not going to HCS. I guess I'll take this bullshit off, but I don't care. It's a fun look for me. Fuck it.
He just knocked over all those boxes.
You know what? Wizard of Oz didn't take place in Kansas City.
It took place in Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas.
Wait, isn't Kansas City in Kansas?
Well, there's Missouri, which is the one that everybody knows.
Why the
Yeah,
fuck is there a Kansas City in Missouri? Why wouldn't it be Missouri City?
That's where the Kansas City Chiefs are from.
Yeah,
In Missouri?
Yeah. Nobody
But
knows
it's
about Kansas City,
Kansas.
Kansas.
yeah.
It-
I don't think anybody cares about either one of them.
No, really.
Hold
Yeah.
on.
Truly.
Can we back
It's
up?
basically
Why-
like a
why
knockoff
do you
Nebraska
have a
cousin.
Kansas City in Missouri? Why didn't you have a Missouri
Why-
City?
That
Where's
sounds
Missouri
stupid.
City? Because nobody wants Missouri City. Everybody hates.
And his mic peaked.
Well,
Well,
Okay,
you know
let's
what? He
go
wouldn't have
back.
had those
Let's-
problems if he wouldn't have if he would have saved all his settings from his mic when you went through everything.
oh, compressors are hard.
What's an equalizer? Love you, buddy.
It's your subpar system.
It is just subpar system.
Yep.
Clearly, and
Yep.
it's mics like this that are the reason. No, I can't say that because the blue mic. But it is systems. It is Go XLRs like
He's
this
on a roll
that are the
today.
reason. That are the reason that Halo dies when I launch this shit. It's bullshit. Let's get back to the purpose of the show.
You're like
Today
me
we're
trying to say
talking
Mini
about
Cooper.
Mini Cooper, Mini Caca, Mini Haha.
Boopy boboo.
There we go. The bleepity bloppity bloop. Putting my hat back on. Fuck you.
Why?
After all that,
I like the shine. I can see my
like
reflection
the
off your head.
Okay, now I don't even. Now it's all weird, and I have to adjust it again so it fits.
Welcome to
The
the
labels
podcast,
a
everyone.
fucking roller coaster, man. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, DJ is just like, woo, woo.
Man,
Listen, my
This is
friend
why
is
we gave him a
missing,
week
and
off.
it's a thing. Here's what I got. Here's what we've got for today. We've got to talk about the new things that are happening with in the comic book world and in cinema, including the latest release of Batman, now in theaters. Check out Robert Pattinson as he represents the new iteration of Batman and how most people are definitely jumping on board. So far, the reviews have been exceedingly positive. They said he is the Batman that we've needed, not the Batman we realized that we didn't want. And I'm excited for it because
doesn't sparkle.
I've heard nothing but good reviews about this film, minus the last 15 minutes. I heard the last 15 minutes
You
was
haven't heard
weird.
my review.
But I heard that he
No.
definitely represents Batman in a new and different way, and I'm excited to hear what you think about it for those of you who have seen it. And if you have an opinion that differs from James or anybody else who's seen this film, congratulations, James saw it 3 days before you. Hate him because he got early access.
I saw it the next day.
Yeah, I saw
I saw it a
today, too.
day
It's fine.
after him.
I saw it.
I'm
today.
I'm seeing it
I
tomorrow.
didn't have time to send Cup my fake spoilers I normally
Look,
send him when I see movies before.
I'm
you.
gonna-
Man, why not?
I'm gonna
Actually,
dive into
I-
it right now
in the
because-
Discord.
Yeah, I'm gonna dive into it right now because you guys
Yeah.
know my DC relationship, and I'm just gonna say this right now. He is
Yep,
hands
okay.
down. This was the best Catwoman and the best Batman, hands down, across the board.
Really?
Out of
Coming
any,
from you, that means a lot.
Out
Because
out
you're
of
a,
you're any Batman, out of any
motherfucker
Catwoman,
about
they
shit.
are the best, hands down.
I
it
was
was
just
the
missing
most,
nipples.
Yeah, well, you know.
And a back credit card.
I'm just gonna say this right now, right? Like I am an open, honest opinion because like I am a fan through and through. Like I've read comic books, I've read, you know what I mean? Like I get it from all different angles, but we've had this conversation about it. DC has not been my favorite for a very long time. At least in the movie aspect. Animated series, all
Mhm.
day, every day. I say that every time. The animated series for DC, amazing, hands down the best when it comes to cartoons. Although Amazon has been pumping out some really good animes
Invincible.
lately. Or not even anime, but like cartoons and like there's stuff like the Boys one. I don't know if you guys have watched any of that
I
yet.
saw a couple of
I haven't
them.
watched the animated
Not
one, no.
bad, pretty freaking good. And by the way, we'll talk about all that later in the show as well. But best Batman, honestly, was the most comic book accurate Batman. Period. Which
That's
dude,
what everybody keeps saying.
he
He
like
was detective.
yeah he was literally a detective. And the best part I liked about this Batman, he's not a superhero. He's not any powers. No nothing. He's literally human. He gets his ass kicked half of this
He's
movie.
flawed. Yeah, he's
I
got
was
to.
told he's basically my emotional state dealing with Halo.
Well,
No,
he's
he's
not
much
that.
more
He's
put
not that
together.
dramatic.
Oh,
No, I was
okay.
gonna say,
But it is-
Your emotional state's like the Penguin had a baby with the Riddler and then had a baby with Batman.
And Joker's the dad.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Oh yes, I love it. It's so amazing.
No, I agree.
Okay.
I think it is the best Batman and the best Catwoman, and I really appreciate the fact that he was a detective. And I thought back and like, he's never been a detective in the movies since '89.
Nope.
No, not really, not at
Nope.
all. In fact, like it was interesting that I noticed this. Now, to be fair, I haven't seen the movie yet. My plan is to go on Wednesday. But one of the things that when I heard people bring up the fact they kept forgetting he was a detective, I'm like, well, yeah, why do you think the police always consulted him? Except for, I had to look
Well,
back and
Gordon
realize
did.
that at no point in any of the films did they address why they felt so compelled to consider him part of the detectives team. At least apparently in this film, it explains it and sets forth the baseline for it, which I thought, interestingly enough, is something they never really, if you only watch the films, it was never really explained in the films. But it was in the comic books. You look back at the comic books and the actual books, that
Detective
shit's all there.
Batman
Mhm.
debuts in
Well-
Detective Comics.
Well, I mean, yeah,
He's
I mean,
been a
it started in Detective Comic, but
Yeah.
and even so, like the whole reason why he wanted to become a detective in the first place is to figure out the murder of his parents, which, by the way, was not discussed at all in this movie, which was fantastic. Thank God
Like
for that.
Once.
Wait,
They mentioned
so-
it,
Oh
like,
yeah, they
once.
did. They talk about it for about
On the
30
news for like
seconds.
3 seconds.
Can I? So
Mhm.
can I ask a question?
Yes.
Because we've had some previous opinions here on the show about the nature of varying, I would say, different loyalties to different brands. Was it possible right now, Drake, that with this film and your view of this film, that maybe your perspective and position on your fandom for Batman has changed a little, has come up a tad?
All right, this is the best way I can put it. If they continue to go in Earth 2, which is where this is classified, it's taking place. It is not part of the DCEU. If this takes part and they continue to push this universe, I would watch more.
Oh my God.
And this is the reason why I say this is because it is actually a good movie.
I've heard
what
it's
I
amazing.
mean by that, and I still gave it like a 7 out of 10, and there's reasons why I gave it a 7 out of 10. And I didn't give it a perfect score like so many people, and I'll get into that after everybody
Well,
else gives their feedback.
yeah.
And this will be spoiler free because DJ hasn't seen it. And then, but I will say this: out of all the villains, I hated what they did with Riddler. Not the green suit debacle. What everybody's upset. I didn't like him as Riddler. He was a
Interesting.
great villain, but he wasn't the Riddler to me. It was weird. It was very off-putting, and it wasn't anything like any of the comic books, any previous movies. They definitely went way left field.
Like Gotham style, or
No,
well,
like Zodiac.
7.
It's
It
more
was
of the
7.
Zodiac killer.
Oh,
Yeah, he was more of the
wow.
Zodiac killer, and that is actually a character
okay.
in comic books with Batman.
Yeah.
He actually fights the Zodiac killer in some comic book series, but even so, like, it was just really weird to me that they tried to do like this. They were trying to pull on the heartstrings of the Capital Rush. That's the way I looked at it.
Interesting.
They were
I mean,
using
and that's
this
a great element.
mentality.
It's a
They-
great element to use. But
Yeah,
man,
like,
but you also got to consider this was filmed before that actually happened.
Well, here's the thing, though. No, but here's my point, though. Is I feel like it definitely shifted more in that political aspect, and there's definitely a lot of politics in this about, obviously, corrupted cops, and there's a lot of stuff in this movie, and I don't want to give anything away, but like
No, you're good,
there
you're
are
good,
parts,
you're good.
there are parts
That's
that
typical Gotham.
Yeah.
it is a Gotham City movie. Not even really Batman.
that's
It's a
exciting.
Gotham City movie. If
I-
they
and-
flesh it out,
Gotham's wicked. It's so good though.
if they
Yeah.
flesh it out and actually do more with it, I'll go back and watch, because this is the Gotham City. Because the next part after this movie
Yeah.
is
and I
leading
got
to a whole series of comic books with Batman that I actually did enjoy.
And I have a side story for this that we're going to
So,
continue
yeah.
from this point. Now, I'm going to go with Cup next because James, you're getting punished for seeing it early.
Yeah.
Cup, you're up.
For
Thoughts?
your chronic
No
diarrhea and seeing it early, you go
Spoiler
last.
free. Spoiler
How dare you miss our show?
Review Cup of
How
Robots.
dare
Let's
you?
go. Let's
Okay,
go.
first thing is the actual identity of the no. It's
He's Bruce Wayne. Spoilers.
it's Bruce
it's I think it's great. I think it's
in
we've
Greece,
never
it's pronounced Bruce.
we've never
Spooky.
seen this time period
Yeah.
for Batman.
Yeah.
So he's not new, but he's still new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's year 2. And so it's really cool seeing him still be a fuck up. Like he's still learning as he goes. He's
Not the best fighter still. He's still.
and he's kind of
yeah.
he's scared of heights.
Okay,
And
wait, what? Batman's scared of heights?
Yes.
Okay, he and I are going to get along
he doesn't
super
they
well.
don't outwardly say it. There's one thing where you see a look on his face when he runs up to a ledge and he's like, oh shit. And
Is that right before the wingsuit?
So-
Is that what
so
you're talking
yeah.
about? When he opens
That's
the
me,
Which,
me
by
and
the
Dying
way,
Light on every ledge.
I just
Got
want to
it.
say this. This isn't really a spoiler, but I definitely want to say this part. The part where he jumps off the edge and he actually doesn't have the stupid bat wings that make no sense. He actually had a
Mhm.
wing suit, which
Mhm.
makes
Oh,
sense.
cool.
He had actually
Yeah.
opened up out of
It
his suit
inflated.
and he attached it. He zipped it up and it looked more. That's the one thing I did like about this movie is they made Batman human. That he's
Yeah,
not.
the whole
He's
thing-
not a
it's
superhero. It's
relatively
great.
realistic.
Yes, it's realistic. It's like what an
All right,
actual.
it's grounded.
Well,
Yeah,
somewhat.
it's based. It's based.
Somewhat,
It's
because some of the
more-
fight
it's-
scenes are
it's-
like, how the fuck did he get up from that? Shut up.
Okay.
Get outta here. Anyway,
Okay.
It's similar in to other movies where it's like, well, how would these comic book characters actually exist if they did exist?
Mhm.
And that's why I actually liked Riddler, because I feel like it was a good translation of whatever disorder Riddler in the comic has.
Yeah.
And I think like I think it was a more of a reality based analog. And I think they will do that with other villains in the future. Penguin was
Fantastic.
great.
He was the best
Cool.
villain.
Falcon
Very glad he's
Marconi.
getting an HBO show.
Oh yeah, he is getting his
like
own.
all of
HBO
them.
show,
It's
yeah.
everything is just
and
like
so is Selena
these
Kyle.
are just mobsters.
Yeah.
Like, but
With a
it was so-
deformity.
and I
he
totally
had the wobble.
totally forgot that was Colin Farrell.
Yep.
Yeah, not
Like,
once
You had
I
no
go,
idea.
I had no idea. And my wife was with me when we saw it, and she's like, "I had no idea that was him." I was like, "I forgot to tell you." It's like, we were watching the credits, and she was like, "That was Colin Farrell." I'm like, yeah.
right.
I think it's fantastic. I really do.
Awesome. All right, so James, the reason we're making you go last because your bitch ass got a press pass and to go earlier than the rest of us. I know that Cup has already yelled at you about this profusely. I definitely made some derogatory comments about your familial heritage and your hairline. So let's go ahead, spoiler free. What did you think of the fucking Batman?
I didn't see it in the end. I just didn't go. I'm kidding. Fuck you.
What the actual?
That would have been the best. Like he's like, actually, I didn't actually go. I just said
Like,
I
I've
was
never
busy.
actually seen any
I
superhero
slept
movie
through
ever.
this shit.
I went
What
back
the
and watched
fuck?
the George Clooney version. And I
I watched Batman and Robin.
You shut your mouth right now.
So my thoughts, huh? I think the first 2 acts are pretty phenomenal and flawless. I think the 3rd act hurts that film. I don't think you need it.
Yep. I
No
agree.
spoilers.
How's that a spoiler?
It's not a spoiler. You're good.
Movies have 3 acts.
Yeah.
Like the 3rd act feels like, and if this
It was
was
forced.
the case, that if Matt Reeves wanted that, it feels like they went, we wrapped the
Are
story.
you saying they need to circumcise the film?
Kinda.
Yeah.
A little bit. Like, because they have this perfect Batman, they have this perfect Gotham City, they have a rogues gallery that is strong, and I'm interested in where we go. And then the 3rd act sort of action is the problem for me.
It was too long.
Wait, no spoilers. What were
He
some
just
of
keeps
okay?
saying no spoilers to you. You just speak a normal sentence. He's like, you are.
Man.
Okay,
It's sunny.
You are one
It's sunny
Right.
out.
loser.
Okay, sorry.
There's a
What
Batman
are-
in this film. Fuck.
what were some of your favorite things about the film, or about its character regeneration and the way that they displayed things in comparison to the organic nature of character development that we all saw in the comics before the movies really started taking flight?
Well, it's very,
He wasn't alive.
very,
What?
it's very year one, which is great, which is a wonderful book. The opening scene is probably the best Batman scene ever.
Oh, now that's saying a lot.
That scene just hit it. You instantly know what film you're going to see.
Okay,
Like that opening monologue and the scene that follows it is just so wonderful.
Oh, through the window?
Yeah, it's very much
And-
a, oh, we're not fucking around.
Practical
Okay.
and we don't get. But wait a minute, is it being voiced over by Christopher Nolan's version of Alfred?
No. This Alfred was way better.
Damn it!
Oh yeah,
Oh.
this Alfred goes way better.
Wait,
Way
is this
better.
Alfred the same Alfred from the Gotham that we had on?
The TV
No.
show? No. No. You know
No.
who it is? You know who it is?
No,
It's the
but
guy
I
who-
don't. Do I want to know? Do I want to know? Do I?
It's the guy who plays Golem.
Gollum. It's
Andy
Andy
Serkis.
Circus?
Yeah.
Circus.
Yeah. Sir Circuit.
I'm
Yeah.
fucking
Him.
texting his ass right now. How the fuck did I know you were in this film? Hold on.
Damn it.
Yeah,
And
he's
his
great,
attention
he's
is gone.
wonderful.
He's really,
But I
really
think
good.
He's really good.
The biggest strength of the film is definitely everyone.
He's
every single
amazing as an
character-
actor for starters, and he's beefy, which is weird since he played Gollum. Right?
Every character in this film is affected by the city they live in. It
Interesting.
feels real. It feels like Gotham is a shithole.
It's
I mean,
alive.
it's one of my problems with the film is that they have so many opportunities to take that a step further, to go that extra mile. If you had just once done like a Court of Owls moment,
Oh, yeah.
the corruption
Well, and-
means something.
I mean, Gotham 2 is technically Mar-a-Lago, so
Well,
Go for it. What's
and
up?
I agree with you on that, dude. The Court of Owls would have been perfect to put in there because there was moments where they showed people. They showed people that could have been part of the
Right.
Court of Owls
I agree.
and didn't
They
say
are
it, but
setting
there'd
up
be hints,
They
like you
didn't
could see
say
like
it.
owl tattoos or something. You know, it could have been anything.
anything.
Yeah.
But they fully talk about
Yep.
you know the how Gotham is built off of the backs of the Waynes and the Arkhams.
It was definitely
And
built
these-
like that. Yep.
it.
Mhm.
Why not just sow the seed, man? It feels like it plays it so safe.
it's
right until that
considered
third
biological assault.
Right, you know what I mean? Like, if you've
Oh.
seen it, they play really safe with that. This is the film. We're not doing sequely stuff. This is the film. And then
Yep.
the third act happens. So if that's the case, why not back your corruption story, your Gotham? Give it more, give it the life it deserves.
Can I ask a
I
question?
think-
Little,
Can-
little bit for me.
So, can I ask a question? Do you think that as we've seen, and this goes to all three of you, if as we've seen done in previous elements of multiple different, I would say, comic book series that have been brought to film properly, do you think that it opens up a dialogue for the DCEU to create a show-based symposium of events in multiple episode series, similar to what, say, Star Wars is doing, to what Marvel is doing? Do you think that opens up the opportunity for them to take a deeper dive into these different characters in multi-episode specials that are going to be part of who's running DC? HBO Max is running DC.
Yeah, HBO.
So that HBO were to run 5, maybe a 6-episode series to
Well,
help
they've already confirmed
build
2.
out.
They are doing too. They're doing Arkham
Yeah.
Asylum as a horror show, and they're
Mhm.
doing Penguin.
Well, no, they
Catwoman is in
confirmed
early
Selena Kyle too, didn't they? Catwoman.
Early development.
Yeah.
Yeah, early development. So there's
Arkham
3.
done
Yeah.
And
I don't
those
have
shows
that
are
one.
premiering when?
Yes.
next year.
Yeah. No.
Next year.
No.
Starting
Penguin
in
Penguin
Starting-
Just like
started shooting
Aquaman,
this year.
it'll be in 2013,
so
14, 15,
Oh, that-
16.
they delayed their whole slate, didn't they?
Yeah, they
the
did.
whole
We'll-
reason
we'll
I'm
talk about
asking is
that too.
because
We'll stay on topic. But
these
yeah.
so the whole reason I'm asking, the DCEU extended universe on HBO Max starts and begins not only this fall, but the major portions will begin in the spring of 2023. If you don't have your HBO Max account now, grab it. You can get it through Amazon Prime, Hulu, or others, and you can catch up on all the latest in the DCEU universe, plus their extended universes that are coming in the future And that's why I was asking, because
Can
I had
I-
a purpose.
can
Look at
I-
me as
Hashtag
an
ad?
advertising guy.
Let me answer that
Uh,
question.
yeah.
Really quick.
Sure.
To
I'm a
answer
terrible
your
person.
question very quickly, no, I don't think this does do that for the DCEU. What I think this does for the DCEU is make me ask why the DCEU exists.
Yes.
This is better.
Yep.
These stories are better. What
Yep.
you are doing over here is so much better than anything you are doing over there. It's annoying that, like, I don't want Keaton's Batman back.
He needs
If
to
we're
be
doing this,
directing
I
all the
want-
movies
I
like
want the
Feige.
Reeves verse.
Like Feige,
That's all I want.
yeah.
I want the Reeves
I would
verse.
work-
Yeah, it needs to be Reeves and Feige, and just go to town. Go.
And
Mhm.
and it's interesting because Cup and I talked about this on our little podcasty thing that I may have forgotten to record. I may have recorded it. I gotta find it and send it to you. Anyways, we were talking about something similar. That's one of the reasons why I asked this, but also wanted a good conversation about it. Is there a reason you think that maybe, like, how do I pose this in a way that allows you to open the honest answer? Okay, how about this? Given the success of a myriad of different shows and franchises and themes and themologies in extended universe constructs, do you think this is part of that extended plan where DCU finally is going to get a grip on and control their IP in a way that is going to benefit not only the fans of the DCEU, but to finally coordinate and expand in a coordinated effort so that you've got a fully wholesome opportunity to immerse the DCEU fandom at once, as opposed to different factions of
They're
it?
not going to do it.
No,
They're going to fuck up.
no, but I don't care. I just
Okay.
want the Matt Reeves
Yeah,
movies.
that's where I'm at with you guys.
It's-
Same. I want the Reeves universe.
I'm
I'm trying to ask
100%.
detailed questions, and they're like, "No, fuck you."
No, that was a bunch of
True.
words, and
It's
no.
a good answer. It's a good
That
answer.
was a bunch of words. And no.
That's what happens.
Because Matt Reeves has already said, like, he's open to having 2 or 3 of these, and
And I'm really loving what Matt Reeves has been doing so far.
his vision for the characters, the setup. He's already openly talked about what happened at the end and where his mind's at for it and stuff, and it is the best Batman movie. It just is.
Okay.
For all of its flaws, it's the best Batman.
Yeah,
It's the
still
best
is. Yeah,
Bruce
even-
Wayne.
Yeah.
It's all of it. And I love, and I meant to say this earlier, little things like he's scared of heights and you can tell without him saying it, but also the little things of I've not slept in so long and I've only been out at night for 2 years now.
It's
Because he
fucking
talks
me up.
about in his little
Right.
diary, like light
Yeah.
affects him differently. Like
Okay.
he squints when there's daylight and stuff.
Yeah.
And of
He
course
only
that
goes
would
out at
happen
night.
because
Yep.
just the little the little things that make this grounded in reality.
The
And I guess
attention
if
to
Earth-
detail is exquisite.
Well,
Earth
and-
2 is our Earth, so
Yeah.
I guess it would make sense for it to be so
And
grounded.
also, the
So-
one thing that the little detail, and I just want to point this out, is the cowl. He actually has black makeup on underneath
Okay,
his
that's-
face and puts the cowl on
I
over the top
haven't-
of that. But
yeah.
then when he takes it off, it doesn't magically disappear.
Mhm.
It's
all
actually
green
there.
and-
He's like, oh
It's-
shit, it's hot. I just got my ass kicked. I got scars and bullet wounds, and I'm all jacked up. But he still has like, and it's smeared from the sweat, and it looks real.
Can I be
Mhm.
honest? I think one of the things that drew me just from the previews and from everything we've seen in all of the clips that we've seen on social media, et cetera, and I'm planning on going and seeing this week, so don't worry. But there's an element of this that I think is lovely, in the sense that, yes, for once, we finally have a Batman who is being real, even more so than Christian Bale. Christian Bale's was based sort of in reality, but still, he pulled that mask off and there was no makeup, and it drove me nuts. He's got it, but here's the thing that I thought was interesting was the playoff. The way the makeup is applied is the same way that they applied Heath Ledger's Joker makeup, because they wanted the same effect. When you saw him running and fighting and sweating, you saw the Joker's makeup running, and you need to be able to see that human nature of, this is not a sweatless activity. He is busting his ass and burning calories in a process, trying to make sure that he's keeping everyone that he can as safe as possible. And I thought, and from what I've heard from the people who've seen it, is that is evident in the way that they did the makeup and the cosmetics in the show, the way that they respected and represented the aesthetics of this in a real world environment, so that it was more believable, more relatable, and most importantly, more grounded in our world.
I don't.
And I
think
thought that was an
I don't
interesting
think it's
phrasing.
that. To me, to me anyway. This is a comic book, the best comic book world, because
Yep.
I believe it. It doesn't need to be real.
Well, not best comic
I
book
need to
world, but definitely
believe-
best DC comic related movie.
Sure.
Yes.
But
Good-
I
good
don't
call.
care that it's not real. I care that I believe he's Batman. I
Yeah.
care
Mhm.
that I believe this world exists. I believe that if you walk out on the streets of Gotham, you're going to get your ass kicked. Like that's more important. to
That's
me.
kind of in general.
Right,
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
the makeup thing grounds it in believability rather than
Well,
there-
and,
there
and
really
you know,
is
we
a dude
talked
as a
we talked
bat,
about the
like-
intro too, in the intro, and there's just one part. There's one part, and I'm gonna say this because it needs to be said, but it's just so DJ can understand and grasp this a little bit. There is one part in the very beginning where he talks about how I have to pick my battles and what's more important than others, and they actually show
Mhm.
multiple crimes happening, and
Mhm.
he's picking and choosing which one he goes
Well, that's
to.
and can I be honest?
Instead of
Can I be
being
honest?
like,
When you
yeah, go ahead.
when you bring that up, it brings up a very considered point. Like, it's not, and that's not just a thing that I think Batman goes through. You like, there's no way Superman can be at all locations at once.
Or police
And when you
officers
think
or
about-
firefighters or anything.
Yeah,
Nobody
you
can
put
be
this into-
everywhere.
You
Yeah.
put this into that aspect of who we consider heroes. We consider our warriors heroes, our military veterans heroes. You consider the fact that when you're in a situation, a wartime environment, let's take this to current nature. I'm going to throw this over there. When you think about, all right, you're in Ukraine, you've got Ukrainian soldiers, generals, military leaders trying to figure out who do we save and when, and how do we manage to figure out what is okay to accept as a loss. These are not questions easily answered by the meek. These are
Yeah.
not questions easily answered by those without the experience of loss. These are not questions answered without aftermath and a caveat of guilt. This is not something that Superman, Batman, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, any of these characters have to consider without realizing that by saving one, we are sacrificing others. And how do we make that judgment call? Or do we just go with who we most likely can save and pray to God it's the right choice? And when you look at the way that most of these heroes are firefighters, especially, like, that's a great bring up. The way firefighters look at a major, 4-alarm, 5-alarm fire, who do they save and how do they determine who's most likely to be savable? And how many lives do we put into the fire in the moment? Police are the same way. Military is the same way. These superheroes run in this same design. And it's imperative that they have finally started to make us and allow us to realize the nature of the guilt, the horror of saving a life, and the realization that I saved one, but I may have lost another. And how do I quantify the value of what I saved versus what I sacrificed?
Well,
It's literally narrated in the movie.
yeah, it's
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
it's literally
Um,
narrated that way. Yeah, 100%.
Uh,
And you know what?
He,
Like,
and what's
Sorry.
great though is because of the psychological effects of this on him. It does talk about like how they think he doesn't know if he's making the city better or worse. Like
a good
he
question.
questions the existence and within the city, and he calls it the Batman experiment. And but he also talks about his psychological effect on the city as far as the criminals. All the criminals are scared of the dark now because they expect him to be everywhere. And all
Smart
this
fear.
stuff. And it's really
didn't
really
they even bring
cool
that
like
up in the movie too about how
Yeah,
criminal
there's
activity
literally
was
a line
picking?
that
They were
says-
it was picking up during the daytime because they knew the bat wouldn't be out.
the bat would.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
crime
Yeah.
was worse since
Yeah.
he showed
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
But also on the Superman thing, I really enjoyed this this quote from Matt Reeves talking about Superman will not be in his movies if there are more movies because aliens don't make sense in this.
Yep.
He says Superman, Wonder Woman, all the Justice League won't be.
Well,
in
she's
his-
not
in
an
his
alien.
universe.
She's just an ancient.
Well,
Okay.
she's an
Magic
alien.
doesn't have a place in it.
Yeah.
Like any
Okay.
of that stuff. He's like,
But
this
even-
is just
Even that,
real.
like, right? So I'm gonna dive into it. This will actually drive us forward a little bit too. But right, so obviously, like James Gunn, he just had his new spinoff. It did really well,
I
and
love Peacemaker.
and Peacemaker. Have you guys all watched
You hated
it all the way through?
Peacemaker. I've
Yeah,
watched
it's
all of
annoying.
Peacemaker.
So wait, this is where I'm gonna go with
I
this.
loved
At the
it.
end, and this is
It
gonna
was
be a spoiler
absurd.
for anybody who hasn't seen it. The end is the first time ever that the Justice League shows up late.
Right, naturally.
They're not there. They're not there to help. They basically show up. And this is the reason why I think the DC universe is fucked. They didn't show Gal Gadot, and they didn't show
Superman, they showed silhouettes.
Superman. They showed
Yep.
silhouettes of both of them, which makes me wonder, because there's been a lot of bad press with them, saying that they were treated bad, that they didn't like it, and he would love to come back, but he literally just went on an interview 2 weeks ago when Batman was coming out. He's like, I wish them the best, but I'm fucking over waiting. I'm fucking over waiting. And you know what? He is doing The Witcher. He's doing
but-
all these other things,
But
right?
James spoke about that.
but-
James spoke about that. Go ahead.
But let me just finish this point.
okay. Yeah.
This is the reason why this whole universe is going to fall the fuck apart. It's not cohesive. There's too much in multiple different realities, and they cannot use. And I was like, you know what? Maybe they'll try to pull it together with like they did with Spider-Man, but with the Flash for Flashpoint. Flashpoint is going to probably be a clusterfuck. I do not imagining it being good. I
No, it's
don't
gonna be a
even
reboot,
like
right?
Ezra.
It's gonna be a reboot.
It's a risk.
I don't even like him as the Flash. He is not a good Flash. I actually liked the Barry. from the CW
Frank
show.
Castle.
Yeah, I liked
Yeah.
him way better. Now,
I love,
now I'm
honestly,
gonna tell you right
I love
now.
them both, but I liked CW's Barry
Yeah,
better.
way better. And he was pissed that they didn't ask him. They should have made it all cohesive. The CW show should have rolled over, and that could have made them so much more money, because then they could have been like, hey, Henry Cavill, come
You're-
over here. You're
you're
going to be
running
Superman.
this-
You're getting your own
yeah.
show. Hey,
You're
you're going to
running
be
a
getting this.
circle.
Gal Gadot, you're getting your own Wonder Woman show. And you know the reason why they didn't? Because they could not pay them enough to be involved with that shit. The scripts are crap. The
and
shows are crap.
CW is a wash, rinse, and repeat
Stargirl
system.
and all these other fucking stupid ass characters that
CW
nobody
has
gives a shit about.
CW is a whole different story.
And
Like,
how
that-
the fuck the Legends is going on its 8th fucking season? That show sucked the first season.
and
How
yes,
the
it
fuck?
did.
The only time it was good is when they brought back Constantine.
I'll be honest. I
Because
never in
Constantine's
my
one of my
life
favorite DC
thought.
characters.
I never in
Even
my
though
life
he's in Marvel
thought,
too, but that's all.
right. But at no point in my life would I ever have thought that the guy from Prison Break.
motherfucker.
Sorry, I hit the wrong button with my hand. That
Yes.
the
Pretty
kid
much.
from Prison Break, the gay kid from Prison Break, who I love, was going to be a shit show in this show, and it was awful. I stopped watching it after season
Yeah.
one. It was that bad.
Yeah.
And I want to point this out. Like, there's been adequate observation based on comments that have been made that the reason for that final sequence where he brought them down was both to recognize that this is part of that universe, but also that
They're not going
Y'all
to
are-
expand it.
that y'all are missing the fucking point. There's a reason why everyone's interconnected. And you guys have spent so much time, and DC spent so much time elaborating on a myriad of different storylines in varying different directions without cooperative interactivity.
Mm.
Now, granted, that can also be said for Marvel to an extent. Like, where the fuck are the X-Men in all of this other Marvel shit?
That's
But-
way more complicated.
That's
though.
way more.
But at least,
complicated.
Way more
And the only reason
complicated.
why
But
they
at
are
least
not
there's
in
Marvel.
already.
Hold on, hold on.
Before
Hold
that,
on. No, hold on. Let me finish. No. Let me finish. Let me finish. At least Marvel established a universal explanation for why we didn't have a myriad of different heroes in the
they were
same
owned by different
existence
people.
of a dimension because we've got multiple different divisions and dimensions. DCEU just finally pulled that together and we're like, oh yeah, I guess we can use the Flash for that.
Well,
It was
here's,
lazy.
here's the biggest
It
problem,
was
though.
lazy.
Here's the biggest problem. DC owns all the rights to every one of their characters, TV, animated, movies, everything. They own everything.
Marvel is
They-
sharing that with a
Marvel-
whole bunch of people.
Marvel sold a bunch because they were like, we don't know how this is going to do. Sony, you take some, you take some. All right, here's EA Interactive. You take this. Like, you guys all cover different parts of the universe. You guys cover video games. You guys cover music. And
Yeah.
then once Feige came in and unified the universes and said, hey, we need this character. The fact that James Gunn had to trade characters, that's my alarm going off. I thought I turned that off. Anyway, so, but the fact, yeah, right. But literally the crazy part about that is that during all of that buyout and all the stuff that happened with Fox and that's the reason why it was delayed. That's the only reason why it was delayed. Like, it's going to be a process to build them into the story now so it makes sense. They're not just going to do what DC does, where they're like, oh, we got the rights, let's make a Peacemaker movie. Woo! It's like, dude, they...
massively think you're wrong.
What?
I hate
Oh, here we go.
massively think you're wrong.
How?
Here we
I
go.
think all of these
Do
things
it.
I think it's fine for these things to coexist. I don't think it really matters. I think that James Gunn with Peacemaker.
There's 7
It's-
different
it's
universes
it
for
does- that doesn't
DC.
matter, though.
7.
I don't think it matters.
Between
I really don't. I
TV
think people are smart enough to. You can
You
pick up a
know,
comic book.
people are
in a
smart enough.
different-
Well, that's one way to put it.
Like,
I mean, I can
people are
agree with
smart
you
enough
somewhat
to go,
there.
Matt Reeves' Batman is
Three
clearly
more
not
fingers.
the Peacemaker thing.
I have
I
3
think
more fingers.
Peacemaker made me realize I don't fucking care about the DCEU as large, but I really like this.
Oh, I do too. Out of
But that's
everything
my
that's been
point.
created,
It's-
100% I agree with you.
It can coexist. It doesn't
Yeah.
need to be because I would rather Peacemaker exists and is great, and Flash is fucking awful, and I get to keep my Peacemaker show. I would hate for them to tie that together and I lose the good shit I like. I would hate.
Well,
that
it's
they
like
go,
it's like
"Here's a
DC's
cohesive
comics.
universe." Yeah,
In that
There's
they
multiple different
showcase the
series.
authors.
Right,
Like you
it's on
follow
Infinite Earth.
you
Yeah.
follow different
Like,
authors.
yeah.
It was the same
Um,
way for all
well,
comic books, though. All
and,
comic
you
books.
know,
There's 47 bazillion
So-
different universes
Why
in the
shouldn't it
comic
be-
books.
Why shouldn't
If
it
you
be the
look
same
at it
for
like
film and
that,
TV,
though,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you get
why shouldn't
less
it be the same?
ragey.
Because
Less
because
ragey, goddamn
what
it.
I'm saying is this is the reason why I disagree with that. There should be one uniform head over all of them, making sure that they make sense. They can have different directors, they can be in different universes, but it needs to make sense. None of their fucking movies, all their villains, all their shit in the DC universe sucks. It sucks. Literally,
is a
like if you look at
subjective
Aquaman,
opinion.
Manta
Like-
made no sense being in that fucking movie. You look at Gal Gadot's last, because I hated Wonder Woman too.
Oh,
God damn it, I
Okay,
hated it.
everybody hated
I
that
hated
movie.
it. What they did with
Everyone
Cheetah
hated
was stupid.
1984. Nobody liked it.
Like they had a good
Well-
build up. It started to have a good. This is what happens with every DC movie. Period. The first act is always good. The build up, they start building up the characters. It's unique. It's different, and then it's like, well, let's give it to the Water Boy to rest the script. Everything will be fine. Like that's how it feels to me. It's just all over the place. They give it to a 10-year-old at a Christmas party and say, "Hey, what would you like to see in comic books, little Jimmy?" And then they hand it to him, and then it's fucking. It makes no sense. They kill off the villains.
Okay,
Like,
first
they
of all,
killed off Zeus in the very first fucking Wonder movie. Zeus is
First of
fucking dead
all-
in the comics. What?
everybody gets drunk at Christmas, and everybody has that nephew that we hand a
I could
project to
drink
and be like,
eggnog
"Hey,
all fucking day with spiked booze, and I would still write a better movie than half that shit they produce.
oh my god." All right, so
Sorry.
not Zeus.
That was
The
my
first-
rant. Okay, I'm good.
Now, the first, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. The first Wonder Woman movie was amazing. I loved it. It
I
was-
love Gal Gadot
fucking
as Wonder
incredible.
Woman. I hated the script. Blech.
but I think as a Wonder Woman, there's nobody else more
like Hugh Jackman.
more
It's gonna be
perfect
weird
for that
seeing another
role.
Wolverine.
She will always be Wonder Woman. He will always be Wolverine. So with that said, let me just go ahead and cover the last because I know we're getting towards time right now.
No, we're not. This is gonna be an hour and a half, 2 hours to get out.
Jesus,
You don't even
I-
say that.
I have meetings.
No, you
Um,
don't.
Have we talked about
No, you
anything yet?
Well,
even
no,
talked
here we
about
go.
anything
We got a couple other things coming up. Let's talk about what's coming up April 1st. I want to talk about this real quick because we've got some. We are.
Let's start
It
before
is
April 1st.
what? So April
Moon Knight.
1st, Morbius. Morbius comes
Fuck
out.
Morbius. Fuck
Mo-
that. Moon
Mo-
Moon
okay.
Knight. Moon Knight.
Moob Night.
Moob Knight. Yes, yes.
Moob
yeah,
Knight
facts.
comes out April 1st along with Morbius. Doctor Strange, Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness is May 6th. Thor: Love and Thunder is coming out July 8th. And then I'm just gonna leave it there for right now because that just covers us through the beginning of the spring.
Umbrella
As far
Academy,
as Umbrella Academy is kicking off.
Stranger
We've got-
Things.
Since you
Uh-oh.
asked the question, I find it fascinating. Since you
Yeah.
brought it up.
Yeah.
Right. Do you hold the same issue you have with DC with Morbius?
Good call.
Yes.
It's a good question.
Because they are doing exactly the thing you don't like.
Because
with
it's not
Morbius.
the MCU.
Except they're
in my
still
opinion.
connected.
It's
now-
but
they've
it's still
started-
connected.
They've bridged
It's
them.
still connected.
What do you
though.
mean? What do you mean? Hold on,
They're
Cup.
not.
What do you mean? What do you mean, Cup?
Carnage was featured in the post credits, or not Carnage, the post credit
Venom
scene,
was.
scene of Carnage
Yep.
tied the MCU to the Sonyverse,
Okay.
and Venom was in
In No Way
the
Home.
post credits
Way Home.
of No Way Home, and Morbius
Is tied
is
in,
in
with
the
Vulture.
Spider-Man universe, and it
Yeah.
is
But
also
it's-
tied in
It might not
thematically
be,
and
though, because
and
they also
script-wise.
have the Amazing Spider-Man 2's Oscorp Tower in Morbius. That doesn't make any fucking sense. They have
it does if you've
Sam
seen No Way
Raimi's-
Home.
Yes, it does because
doesn't.
what it could be is this could be from an alternate universe, and that's how they're gonna bring it in. But okay. I get what you're saying, right? I get what you're saying.
That's what you
But
kind of
here's the
argued
thing,
against.
though. Here's the thing, though. Here's the biggest part of all this.
Uh-oh.
There is no crossover like that with any of the DC shows. None. No matter what universe, no matter what multiverse, they're all like, yeah, let's just paint on the wall with shit and hope it lands. Like, that's what they do.
Peacemaker did that crossover though.
I'm sorry. Can I get that one more time?
Yeah, shit. Yeah. Sorry.
But like, even if Morbius is an alternative universe, and they do have Michael Keaton as Vulture from the MCU,
They're going to use
Right.
that to bring in
Now,
the
but it
Sinister.
just seems
They're going to bring in the
messy, man.
Sinister. That's going to be
Can-
the Sinister Six. Like,
Can I
that's
ask
how
a
they're going to do
question?
it.
can I
Go
ask a question? Can I ask a question real quick? If they bring in the Vulture,
Well, he's already there.
what are the chances that part of the protective group that helps to try and fight off the Sinister Six is involving Justice League, and we get Michael Keaton's Batman fighting Michael Keaton's Vulture, and then you've got Keaton v.
Shut up.
Keaton.
Shut up. Shut up.
Just like,
Stop. Stop. No.
Put that cookie down.
You're drunk, sir.
What
You're
I
drunk.
would imagine is going to happen with Michael Keaton is
Batman.
that is going to establish that it goes both ways. The crossover.
Well, isn't
stuff.
he in the CW show too?
Whitney Houston sang a
the
song called "It Cuts
Batwoman?
Both Ways."
Didn't they say he's going to make an appearance in the CW show?
She's dead.
No,
Is
Or
it?
is it only in the
CW
Batwoman?
He's
I
in
didn't hear that
Batwoman.
anything that.
Oh,
Oh, he was in Batman.
yeah, Batwoman.
yeah.
I saw
he's
that.
There was like
crossover,
a
yeah.
newspaper clipping of his Batman.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. But he was there was an episode where she had to go. Oh no, it wasn't the Batman show. It was
that Yanni.
it was
Crisis on Infinite Earths did it.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The huge crossover event.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, and to answer your question in the fullest way, so we can move on to the next segment because we'll talk about this for an hour. I think here's the difference between DC and Marvel. Marvel is trying to clean up past mistakes by selling out parts of their company, and the best way to do that was to make Sony happy. And they still are allowing Sony and their directors and their people to make their movies, and they're trying to take what I would like to say garbage and mesh it with the current MCU so that way it makes sense for why it's there. They're trying to basically build it into a gap where they can still use those characters in the MCU if they want, and Sony can use MCU characters if they want, and it's very a symbiotic.
It would be
relationship.
ideal.
And,
It would
and
be
it's-
ideal.
Symbiotic.
And so,
But
and,
the-
I mean, see what I did there?
Mhm.
But just in general, like
Mhm.
that's why it's so much different than DC. DC does not have that
Sure.
cohesiveness. It is
Mm.
It's
It's
like, and
elegance.
I will do the sound
They do
effect
it
again.
elegantly.
It's literally it's shit painting. They are trying to
Yeah.
whatever will stick on the wall, and they can make a pretty picture. They're going
because they did it backwards.
because they
started
did
in the
it
wrong
ass
direction.
backwards. They did it one. Now, if
Yeah.
they now here's where I think it might turn around. This is my prediction, and we're going to talk about this next year, because so every one of the DC movies got pushed back to 2023, right? All of them.
No, Black Adam is Shazam
yeah.
2 is
Okay, so Black Adam and Shazam are
Excited.
probably the best DC movies that they've made, period, or will make. I personally think that Black Adam is going to be good. I think it's going to be good. I put money on it. It's going to be good because there's so many good actors. The cast, everything looks good, and it makes sense. All the characters that are in that show, they don't have weird fucking spin-off characters mixed with them or anything. It's like actually the legitimate comic book characters are in this movie.
Well, and we're talking
Shazam
about
is the same way. Shazam
Yeah.
was the same way. It was the base character. They had younger version and older version, and he had all the powers, and it made sense. The way he got the powers was a little weird, but most of all, they weren't bad movies. They weren't bad. They were entertaining. They had comedy. They spun off, and
I
they didn't
love
kill off-
Shazam personally.
But
I loved
Shazam was
Shazam.
not bad. I actually
Okay.
liked the comedy, and it kind of reminded me of a Deadpool, like a very watered down PC version of Deadpool.
I mean, I see
True.
your point. It's not Deadpool, but I see where you're going.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's a lot
No.
more-
Yeah.
It was a take on a world that was because it is in the DCEU
Yeah.
because of
Yep.
the
Yep.
Batarang and everything else.
Yep.
So it's a light-hearted look through a lens. So I get what you're saying with that.
Yeah, because that's the difference between DC and Marvel. It's like I just feel like Marvel is trying to build this world. Like every show you watch, and you're like, what are they going to do with this character? We know they're in the comic books, but they haven't said it's that character. But we know it's that character because we're comic book fans. Like the Young Avengers, they've been trickling that for the last 5 years. And they've been piecemealing that.
'Cause
They
that's
don't do that in
appropriate.
DC. They use the same fucking characters and beat them. It's just like Spider-Man, and that's why they got rid of it. The
Yep.
Uncle Ben shit. Like they got rid of it and they spun it different, made Aunt May hot.
And they turned Uncle Ben into a rice.
well, he got pulled off all the shelves. But it's the truth. I'm just
That did.
saying.
We're gonna edit that out.
Just saying.
We don't
And-
edit this.
Yeah. We don't edit. It just goes. Look, you know what? Look, we're an equal opportunist group. Everyone here is important. All right.
Everyone here can be rice.
Yes, everyone
Yeah,
can
we
be
can
race.
rice. If you try hard enough, you can be
DJ Blue PDX
You
rice.
soak me in water enough, I prune too.
Beat my rice. I'll make your sauce.
Yeah.
I think the Vulture snuck over when during Spider-Man No Way Home when everything was opening up. I think he went
Yeah.
over to the Amazing Universe where Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is,
Yeah.
and I think that is what is going to be said in Morbius.
I hope
Remember
it
this
is,
tweet.
because if
I
it
think
isn't
it's going to
Well,
be too.
happening,
And
but
to
if
be
it's not
fair,
addressed, is that a problem?
okay,
Because
well,
like, they're doing Craven the Hunter, they want to do Madam Web, they want to do
The Madam
and
Web
doing
stuff's
all
going to
of
make
that-
things go crazy.
right,
Can-
but doing all of that without the MCU stuff would suck.
Can I be honest?
And here's
Like
one
Venom
other
sucks.
crazy thing. Did you guys see what they're doing with the Madam Web stuff? They said it's going to
Well-
cross over into the Spider-Verse. They're
Let
actually
me-
going to
let me-
pull
Part
Miles
two of
Morales
Spider-Verse,
from the Spider-Verse.
let's back
Mhm.
up for a second.
No,
Let's
no
back up for a
backing
second.
up. We move forward
I
and
wanna-
bulldoze over everything we were going to talk about.
Here we go. Here's what I want to point out about this.
Okay.
And I thought it was interesting because I recognized the way that there were multiple people in a limited audience. Like there were maybe a total of 20 people in this whole theater that when I went and saw Spider-Man finally. And these complete strangers who I'd never met, we were sitting far across from one another. We cheered for the same things. We celebrated in the same moments. We hollered when it was funny, when it was right, and we recognized why we were so excited to see the characters and the people that we saw, because this was part of our childhood, part of our fandom, part of the way that we were introduced to Spider-Man and the extended Spider-Man universe in the beginning with Tobey Maguire. When we watched these amazing characters who came back from our childhood, who at the time were really shitty CGI and now is better CGI. And you look at these things.
What you mean, Venom and
And-
Spider-Man 3 wasn't good?
Oh, it was terrible.
I mean, it's
You're
ironically
describing
better than
seeing a
Venom.
movie. I think that's
I-
what you're doing.
I want
Just seeing
what
a movie in a theater.
what I
You
thought
would-
was beautiful was the fact that now the DCEU got to see how much the fans not just respect, but identify with and love the different ways that Peter Parker and Spider-Man were represented by all three of those actors. And they did such an exquisitely unique job of representing him in their
Different
own
ways.
unique way.
Yeah.
And how each of those specific identifiers were special to various different members of communities in different age groups and different generations for different reasons. But some of us who were lived through all of these identify with elements for each of them, and we're fans of all of them. And the fact that there's a chance that we're going to get to see the DC bring back, Marvel bring back varying different elements of Spider-Man, including Garfield, including Tobey Maguire, and of course the unsung hero of the Spider-Man universe, Tom Holland. When you bring those three boys together, they suddenly begin to fulfill that goal of the Spider-Verse and the multitudes of opportunities you have to represent a myriad of different communities in a myriad of different ways. And for me, I think that's the most exciting element of what we can look forward to in this multiverse, because it means Spider-Man doesn't necessarily belong to one specified ideology of who Peter Parker is, who Spider-Man is. It
Without
is
even knowing this, DJ, you're quoting something that Stan Lee said when he was still alive. He goes,
Really?
he goes, it does not matter who is underneath the mask.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who's representing Spider-Man. It's not the costume. It's the person inside that will bring everyone together. It doesn't
And
matter
that's
if they're
the
black,
key.
white, Hispanic, female, male. It doesn't matter. Everybody can relate to that character. And because it's a generational gap where you've had Spider-Man in the 80s, 90s, 2000s.
I mean,
you know,
shit, we had
teens.
Spider-Man back in the 60s.
But yeah, even farther. I mean, yeah, that's where the meme came from. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, even so, like, imagine what will happen. You guys saw how much of a huge turnout for the animated series. That was hands down the best
Oh, yeah.
animated
That was
Marvel movie that they've ever done.
Mhm.
Into the Spider-Verse was fantastic. It hit cultural indifferences. It hit, it hit the racist mark. It kind of like said, hey, this is how we grow up in the black part of the community. This is what happens when I have an Hispanic nurse mom and a black dad. Like it gave, and Miles Morales is my favorite Spider-Man. Other than when it comes to the male side of it, when it comes to the female side, I love Silk. But that's a whole nother story in itself.
that's a
Sony is
whole
doing that
different
The R&D
episode.
group
But-
from the
but-
90s.
Whole
But-
different episode.
But I'm just saying, when we start diving into this, when we're on episode 150 of this show,
Yeah.
and we're talking about when they make a Spider-Gwen movie, or they make a Silk movie, or they start introducing, by then we're gonna be talking about the fourth generation of X-Men in the MCU by then.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna have all this new things, and then not only that, because I have to bring this up because he's my favorite comic book character, period, like across the board, because I relate the most to him, because I'm a smart ass and I don't ever pay attention and I have the attention span of a gnat. Is Deadpool.
Congratulations.
Got his brand new. Well, they officially announced that they got the brand new director
Yeah.
for Deadpool 3, which is the same guy who did Free Guy and Deadpool 1 and 2. So
Oh yeah.
it's gonna
No,
be
he's
awesome.
he's Ryan. It's
Sean
Ryan
Levy,
Reynolds'
right?
best friend.
That's his name, right? Sean Levy.
It's
Yeah,
Yeah.
they didn't do
It-
1 and 2. He did Free Guy and Adam Project.
Yeah, and he did Adam
Oh.
Project. And Adam Project, oh my god, I watched that yesterday. So
no
fucking good.
spoilers.
So
I have
good.
to start that. We just
They even
finished.
referenced Deadpool in it, which is funny.
Okay, there you go.
You gotta watch
Yeah, I
it.
haven't,
It's really
I
good.
haven't watched it.
Really
Now
good.
that being said, I do have we've
No, you
all
don't.
got
No, you
things
don't.
we have to do
No, you
today.
don't. No, you don't.
So let's talk about this. Final things that you're looking forward to in the upcoming month for the DC and Marvel Universe. Let's start with Cup. I'm sorry.
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight. All right, Moon Knight's
Yeah,
coming.
Moon Knight for sure, and just going to see Batman again. Like nothing else matters.
I
in the
can't wait to
DC
see it. I can't wait to
universe.
see it.
Like
Right.
as soon as it ended, we were still sitting in the theater.
They
My
just
wife
solved the
looked
puzzle
over
at the end, by
and
the way.
said,
Yeah,
Um,
the Alada thing.
"Yeah." They while we're watching the credits, my wife looks at me and she goes, "I want to see it again."
That's what Nate
It
said
was-
too. Nate said the
it-
same
that
thing
is
to me too. She's like,
awesome.
I loved it. Nate loved it more than I did, but
So it's
She
a
grew
double
up in a
date level
Batman.
feature.
I've been
Well,
twice.
she's a
Ellie's
comic
been
book. Like
twice.
she's not into comics. She's not into
Well, see,
any nerd
yeah,
culture
yeah.
or anything. And she's like, I absolutely love this movie.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome to hear. That's good feedback.
yeah.
James, how about you? What are you looking forward to most with DC and Marvel in the coming month?
Marvel, I want a Love and Thunder trailer, please.
Yeah,
Yes,
me
please.
too.
That would be awesome.
Coming up.
Yep.
And we're hitting the time.
I
where
hope
that
they
should be a
have
thing.
Beta
Yeah,
Ray Bill in
it's
this
gonna
damn
come
movie.
out soon. You know it's
I know.
coming
I just
soon.
hope it has
I
Beta
mean-
Ray Bill, man. I'm crossing my fingers for it.
Too.
Oh,
It's gonna.
Yeah.
I just literally before we started recording, I bought No Way Home in 4K. That's
Nice.
coming.
Oh,
yeah, that's
good
right. It
man.
came out
Good
for
man.
sale,
Good-
huh?
That's
Yeah.
right. You can
Yeah.
get that. Pick it up on digital.
And for DC, yeah, I got it in digital.
Yeah.
For DC, I'm hoping they announce Batman 2, and you do Heart of Ice.
Oh,
Just do
that.
Heart of Ice.
I can't wait to see the
this
first
one.
film. I can't wait to see the first film.
Batman 2 or just Batman?
I
2?
mean, I would just do the Batman Heart of Ice.
There we go.
What I would do.
There we go.
If you don't give me a Gotham City at Christmas with this vibe, you're missing out.
Yeah.
Also true. Also true.
A Mr. Freeze in this world,
If we could
A
do
lot
it
of people
right
are
and
calling
not
for
have
Mr.
it
Freeze.
be.
Cook it down.
God damn it!
I mean,
God damn it!
sure.
They
All right. God damn it! Lost Drake. Lost Drake. What do you hear? What are the things you're looking forward to the most?
Ah, man, you know what? Like, I mean, obviously we're gonna all kind of say the similar thing, but I'm actually excited for multiple things coming up. I mean, obviously Stranger Thing. I'm really excited for Stranger
I love
Things.
Stranger Things.
And
Stranger Things
and the
is
fact
this
that we're getting two, basically they're breaking season 4 up into 2 parts, which is fantastic. And then we're gonna get season 5 later this year, so we're basically gonna finish out the story this year. And whether they decide to make spin-offs or anything else, I'm super excited about it. I love Stranger Things. It's one of those shows that I watch with my family, along with Umbrella Academy. I'm really excited for Umbrella Academy. The Boys
Yep,
is
The Boys
is
season
one of my
3.
favorite. It's so dark and so fucked up. I love it. I love shows like that though, because I have a dark sense of humor. I can't help it. But I mean, obviously the obvious ones. Moon Knight is going to be. I hope it's good. I really do. I hope it's good
Yep.
for Marvel and Oscar Isaac. There's a lot of negative feedback with it right now and cancer culture because that jackass writer and all the other stuff that's going on. But Multiverse of Madness is going to be the breaking point. It's going to be the anchor for all the MCU. It's going to be it's going to be insane. And then they just there was a spoiler that was just released that Defender Strange, played by Cumberbatch, is going to be in it, which is crazy because him being in it is actually a huge thing from the comic books. So and they think that Tom Cruise is not going to be in it now. There's like a bunch of, because of Defender Strange being in it. But either way, it doesn't matter. Like, we already know because, you know, Xavier's in it and Patrick Stewart already confirmed 100% that he is that was his voice and he is in it.
Yes.
And not only that, but there was just something just recently that was released showing the character list that's in that movie, and it is insane. Oh, we lost Cup and
No, we didn't lose Cup.
No, I'm here.
So James just lost power at his house, so he is off for a moment. And I will say that the things I'm looking forward to most in the upcoming month is the soon-to-be trailer, which is going to be so imperatively important in the upcoming fan fictions as well as the universe exploration. It is the Autobots versus the Bronies. It is the My Little Pony boy band that's going to be going up against most of the elements within Transformers, except the Decepticons are mostly just the backstage secondary singers. I haven't been paying attention to shit, and I don't know. But you know what I do love? All things comic books and films. So that being said, Cup of Robots, where can we find you? Where do you air, and what do you do?
Twitch.tv/Cup of Robots. 3 days a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. You know, get up early, have a cup of coffee with Cup of Robots.
There you go. It's that cup
We
of
might
cup
have
of
to,
cup
we
of
might have
robots.
to do that all over again, though. It messed up the whole layout.
Oh,
when he left.
No. Well, you know, we're gonna keep the audio.
When he left, basically, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to edit this now. Way to go, kick ass!
All right, here we go. Let's
go ahead.
finish the audio on this.
Finish out, yeah.
All right, you can find Lost Drake at the Lost Drake on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Hover, and more. You can also catch every stream that he does live right here on Twitch at twitch.tv/The Lost Drake. You can find DJ Blue PDX and all those same things at DJ Blue PDX, although I'm much less active than The Lost Drake because I am an inferior product. But you know what? I wear a hat well, and that's all that really matters. You're watching Pardon the Distraction live right here every third week of the month. It is comic books and movies with special guests Cup of Robots and Kick-Ass Jamis. On behalf of Lost Drake and I, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on Pardon the D.
Bye. So this is the part where I insert
That's the dumbest ending I've ever done. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was yeah.
I'm sorry,
he
dude.
messed it up. It's his fault. First the yogurt, now this. God damn it. I'm leaving all this part in too. I don't care.
Good.
Fuck it. But it like he like sends me a message on via his phone. He was like, "Oh fuck, we just lost power." I'm like, "What the fuck, dude?" And that's when I messaged you guys like, "All right, well, this is what's happening."
Well,
and then I realized.
Well, here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing is in his black box when everything broke. By the way, too, I think I am gonna leave this. I'm gonna edit this out as the ending of the show. But literally, like as he broke, it split me in half and had half me over here and half in his box. And I'm like, what the hell? Because it like moved because his window didn't show up. So I was like, what the shit? And then I looked over and I just saw your face and you started going with clothes out. And I'm like, no, like in my head. And
At that, yeah.
And then here's
At
the
that
best
point,
part.
I figured, what else do we have?
You know what? You know the best part is immediately where my head goes is how can I fuck with James now? Like because I saw his box empty and I'm like, what can we insert there? So in the post edit, I'm definitely gonna add something in there.
How I found his box empty.
Yeah. Well, look, you know what? I'm gonna fill his box.
Hell yeah.
Wow. And it's gonna be something. You know what? I should like Photoshop his head on like Batman or something, and just put
Just have him there.
just down there, and he's like this, like peace symbols or something.
Well, here's the thing. For those of you who are still watching in the event that we're going to keep the rest of this,
Yeah.
please make sure you pick up Pardon the Distraction. It launches every Thursday at 12 noon. You can pick up these 12 noon Pacific. It launches on our webpage. You can go to pardonthedistraction.com or simply pick up Pardon the Distraction on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. All of these things are edited by The Lost Drake. Please make sure to show that motherfucker some love because I ain't doing it. Because I'm
True. It's true.
inadequate and lazy. And
That's not true,
I appreciate
but
you motherfuckers.
The edit part, yes.
Yeah, we'll get everybody to make promo shit and all that
Right,
other
they
stuff.
make pills for that.
There you go. It happens to men at some point in life. God damn it.
It's
All right, are we good?
Edictile dysfunction. You don't know how to edit. It's fine.
Awesome.
I don't know. I just
There we
threw
go.
out a random word. I don't even know what's happening.
Have fun, people. We'll
It
see you
worked.
next week.
Oh, bye. What the fuck is this?
I don't know.
I don't know. The worst
Jesus.
ending ever.
Let me know when we stop recording.